Unless you've been living under a rock since Friday, you know about the major story that hit, the one thing that has changed the 2020 presidential election, and that is the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Now look, I am not going to go through and suddenly proclaim that just because someone passed, they were a great person who did great things, but I'm also not going to be on here bad-mouthing the dead. But what I am going to say here is that this is looking a lot like 2016. I mean, think about it. We got the left rioting in the streets, burning buildings down, and threatening violence against political opponents. You got rioters who have been hit in the nuts by the police. Instead of pepper balls this time, it's rubber bullets. You got the polls and the media trying to proclaim Trump can't win. He has no chance at winning. And now you have a vacant Supreme Court seat. This looks like a complete repeat of 2016. And look, we want to go off and talk about the difference between Merrick Garland and, this Supreme Court opening. Okay, we could have that conversation. Now, yes, there is a tradition that you do not fill a Supreme Court seat in the last year of a president. However, Trump is not exactly in his last year, is he? Unlike Obama back in 2016, Trump can still get reelected and have 4 more years. But we can also take a look at the situation whereby the left has completely abandoned all traditions and forms of civility in 2020. And therefore, since they threw out all the rules, why should we abide by this standing tradition of not filling a Supreme Court seat in the presidential election year? I mean, if the left is going to engage in terrorism, if the left is going to go through and try to undo elections, then there is no reason why we shouldn't fill this seat. Now, of course, the left is having a complete meltdown, and predictably so, saying, you better not fill that seat. You better not. Oh, don't you dare. It was Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish that her seat not be filled until the next president takes office. Well, the next president might not take office until 2024, as we have the current president remaining in office. So it is interesting to see how the left is going through and, trying to do everything they can to prevent Trump from having a 3rd Supreme Court pick. And look, now we could talk about, again, the tradition of not filling the seat, but the left has made filling the seat imperative. They've made it so that we have no choice but to fill the seat. Because think about it. They are going out and attacking the election already. They're trying to undermine the election integrity. They talk about how they're going to challenge the election results and refuse to concede. And just like in the 2000 election, likely take their challenge to a Trump victory all the way to a Supreme Court. Well, guess what? We can't risk a 4-4 Supreme Court tie. So because of the left's actions, because the left has made it clear that they plan on challenging the results of the election, should Trump win, well, we have no choice but to fill the seat. That way we can avoid the gridlock of a 4-4 tie. Therefore, the left, not only in their engagement of violence, but based off of how they've been attacking the election, has made it so that the seat cannot go vacant. It needs to be filled before the election. Now, I support Trump filling the seat, and I didn't support Obama filling the seat. Why? Because I have faith and confidence in Trump that he will fill it with someone who has actually read the Constitution and is more likely to actually abide by the Constitution. Obama, no one he picked was ever going to read the Constitution, nor ever going to abide by it. This is one of those things whereby the left keeps attacking all our institutions of democracy while proclaiming that they're defending it and their political opponents are attacking it. Now, as we go through and we take a look at the left's reaction to the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it is quite hysterical because all of these are empty threats, empty statements. They have nothing. For instance, Schumer says, nothing off the table next year if GOP replaces Ginsburg and Dems win Senate. Okay, so how's this different if they don't fill the seat and the Democrats win the Senate? It's not. What the Schumer's saying is, well, whether he fills it or not, we're really going to do the same thing. But if he fills it, we're going to proclaim that our actions are because he tried filling the seat or because he filled the seat. Oh, nothing is off the table. Well, nothing was off the table before the Supreme Court seat became open. I mean, what is left on the table in your toolbox to begin with? You already went through and used the intelligence community to spy on Trump's presidential campaign, trying to dig up dirt. You found nothing. You went all the way to a special counsel investigation with absolutely no reason, basis, or justification, just a bogus document that you Democrats paid someone to manufacture, spent over 2 years on that, and came up empty. You already went through Democrats and along with the media, through everything that you had to try and overturn the results of the 2016 election. And you came up empty. Heck, Pelosi won't rule out Trump impeachment to stop Supreme Court nominee vote. Well, you won't rule out impeachment on any given day for any given reason. I mean, you've already tried impeaching the president this year for no reason, for no basis. You had absolutely nothing. You made an accusation of a quid pro quo with Trump and Ukraine, right? You went off and tried to already do an impeachment, even though you had no crime, no evidence of a crime, and no witness to a crime. And you still went through the impeachment process, and you still voted to impeach. Now, of course, that was all to cover up your own corruption, the corruption of the Democrat Party, and change the narrative in the media, to get a distraction. But you've already gone out and tried to impeach the president for nothing. So him going off and nominating someone to the Supreme Court doesn't change anything. All the Democrats are saying is, if Trump tries to fill the Supreme Court seat, we're going to do something horrible, something that we were already going to do, regardless of whether or not he tries to fill the Supreme Court seat. Do you not see what the Democrats are doing? Can you not see how radical they have become, whereby nominating someone to fill the Supreme Court seat, which is a legitimate power of the president? In fact, it's a constitutional responsibility of the president. But just doing that, all of a sudden, they're threatening impeachment. They're threatening to throw everything at him. Now, if they hadn't already been doing this, regardless of the Supreme Court opening, this may actually be something. But the fact they're willing to throw out the idea of impeaching Trump just for nominating someone to the Supreme Court lets you know everything that you needed to know about the impeachment attempt earlier this year. The Democrats are completely out of control. They have lost any sense of democracy. And it is horrifying. Who would vote for this? Who would vote Democrat? Well, people who are uninformed, completely clueless, or you're a disgusting piece of crap. That's the only two people voting for, or two types of people, I should say, voting for the Democrats in 2020. It is amazing that they're doing this. Now, I could have gone off and posted a video clip of me months ago predicting that a justice like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I specifically mentioned her, was going to pass, and what chaos that was going to cause to the 2020 election. I predicted that, back in March. I had said, could you imagine what would happen if near the election, a Supreme Court seat opened up, and the chaos and the complete meltdown by the left. And the left is completely melting down. Make no mistake about that. And it is kind of funny because the left cannot help themselves. They really can't. Anytime they have a chance to show you who and what they really are, how anti-American they really are, and how radical and extreme they really are, corrupt and abusive they really are, they never fail to show it to you. They never pass up an opportunity to show you what horrible, disgusting people they have become and how horrible left-wing ideology is. But they can't help themselves. Orange man bad. Trump derangement syndrome level 10. TDS level 10. And yet the media is going to somehow proclaim the Democrats are great strategy implementers, that Nancy Pelosi is a political mastermind. Really? You think people are going to vote for this? You think people are going to vote for the idea that you would impeach a president for nominating someone to the Supreme Court? The Democrats are in trouble. They're desperate. They're reaching. And it's no doubt that if by some chance they won in 2020, retained the House, won the Senate, won the White House, what would they do? Well, chances are they're going to try to impeach President Trump's Supreme Court seat, the seats that Trump filled. Of course, they were going to do that anyway, so there's no real threat there. But think about that for a moment. But here's what we got to look at as conservatives. We have a chance with this pick to change the court for a generation, to bring it back in line with the Constitution, to bring it back in line with the rule of law, instead of what the left has done with the left majority, that they had for so long, which is an unconstitutional court ruling in unconstitutional manners. And it's amazing how we have come so far as a conservative movement that the Supreme Court could actually come back in line to the Constitution and we can get some legitimate ruling. And we cannot pass that up. So yes, I am saying Trump, nominate someone, nominate them quickly. Senate, you definitely should go in and vote to confirm whoever Trump nominates. Now, of course, there you can always count on some rhinos like Susan Collins saying, well, maybe we should wait until after the election. Let the people decide. You got the anti-Republicans posing as Republicans. And to those people, I would say, that's not a winning strategy for you. Chances are you're going to lose your Senate seat because you're acting in such a way as people, your base, the people that you would need in order to retain your seat, are becoming disgusted by how you are very much against the party for which you are claiming to represent and represent the people thereof. You're not going to win going out and trying to say, we need to keep the seat open. Now, in one respect, yes, that can motivate people to show up to the polls. But at the same time, we can't take a risk. We cannot risk the Supreme Court, and gamble it on the outcome of the election. So fill that seat and fill it now.